Welcome, everybody. Episode number 5 of the latest with Brad Rochefort and David Leighton. Brad, great to see you.
David, good morning. Great to see you.
Crazy week. I was just saying before we got on, Thursday already, these weeks, there's so much, just when I take a few minutes to look back on all the things we've learned. Let's get right to it. I know everybody's kind of feeling the temperature rise with AI. Right. I feel like it's just the density of life and things we
Yeah.
can get done. But again, it's more just picking out tools, choosing what we want to use. So Brad, I'm gonna send it over to you first. What have you seen?
Yeah, great thing to say there, David, that the temperature is rising on AI, meaning that it seems to have been more widely accepted. I'm seeing in news headlines, more and more CEOs are saying, and not just CEOs, but like very influential large company CEOs are saying, like, you absolutely have to be using AI everywhere. And if you're not using it everywhere, you're making a mistake. It's not like that you're letting people um, go because the AI is doing their job. It's that there are enhancements to every aspect of every job that you can automate. So what I'm seeing now is a new way to browse the internet. Now, when we show these tools, I always tell people that the very large ecosystem of big companies is like a castle. So Microsoft, Amazon, Meta, Facebook, Google, they seem to be like physical castles of the trillion-dollar or multi-trillion-dollar size. And the likelihood of living in that kingdom of that sphere of whatever it is they do is that if you have some product, some software, some application that they like, they will either try to buy it from you, which is the ideal case. They will either try to co-opt it and bring you into the kingdom, or they might burn it down. I mean, that's just a fact. It's not a naive view of the world. It's just reality that in software, it is very difficult to have a concept that you proprietarily own when the trillion-dollar gap is beyond our comprehension. So when I show some of these tools, I'm aware that the bigger companies might show up with this at a later date. This is sort of just like, here's where things might be going. That big long caveat being said.
Sure.
This, you need to say it, right? You need to say like, look, I don't think that naively this is going to be forever, but this might be something cool. So what we're seeing here is a company called Data. So like the DATA, but DETA, and it's .surf, and they're offering you to surf the internet in a new way. So they put you at the center of your digital life. It's a browser, so that's what you're going to be doing, pointing it to URLs, pointing it to websites. It's a file manager, perhaps like Google Drive, and an AI assistant, perhaps like ChatGPT or Gemini, all in one. And again, I've said that the bigger company might come and eat this up, but I signed up for it. It's in closed alpha. We'll see if we can get this on a coming up show. But this is going to help you surf the internet. And it's why everyone's going to connect with AI and the web. So people are calling it the future of bookmarks or the future of the internet. You can save a superpowered screenshot or a PDF or a YouTube video or a file or more, and then find them in an instant and watch them organize themselves. So, I mean, David, do you find that if you were on the internet, you saved a bunch of stuff, sometimes even like, say, before this podcast, aren't you at a loss of like, where did I put that? How do they all interconnect?
Yes, managing right with just within my OpenAI and ChatGPT within Claude where you can manage. But look, the web browser has not, if we think all the way back to the Netscape browser, there
Yeah.
really hasn't been major changes. Certainly Chrome's taken the lead, Firefox, Safari, Arc came out, right, which I think you and I talked about, and I don't know that either of us used it. Something like that. I feel like there needs to be something radically different, but just moving like for how us humans are interfacing with the web, with our life, and now with AI.
Yeah. So
I'm
this
excited about this. This is a great find, Brad. You said they just made the announcement yesterday, or
this came to my radar yesterday.
okay.
Um, so I had it up on a different screen. I think if we go back one, The Verge reported on this yesterday. So the Verge.com, the news article in tech, AI, and apps. Says a startup called Data built a browser with a chatbot that can help you browse, organize, and understand the entire internet. It's very cool. And this is yesterday morning, so about 24 hours ago. And David Pierce is the editor at large and the host of Vergecast. So, not someone random from the internet, but brand new to me, right? And brand new to Verge. So if we see this animation right here, so it says search personal chat, right? So it's sort of like having a chat GPT chat. So it's a text box within the screen that it can power through dozens of tabs. So like many of us, when you're browsing the internet, I've got right now ChatGPT, Gmail, Google Search, this website, Google Keep, the two things I'm going to show next, all open. And that's one of many other windows that are open. So what allegedly this is going to do is it's going to search the contents of all of those. I think the modern way to look at the internet is to browse many things at once, keep them open, and sort of pivot between them. So what this video is showing, if I move my mouse, that white text will disappear, is people are in the user of this surf browser is in the search bar. It looks like they're putting multiple YouTube videos in. They're saying extract the colors from this cascading style sheet. They're picking up a Guardian article and saying, how does this relate to? So they're interacting with a Wikipedia page, with YouTube articles, and they're saying, what are the connectivities of all these things? That to me seems like a very novel thing that perhaps someone else has made, but it's not come across my radar. It's not been in a mainstream tool.
Fascinating.
Right? I think if any of the major, app castles or tech castles picks up something like this, explain this to me. I know Google has a new learning tool, if you've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I was talking about that. Is right? Is that the Illumin? What's it called?
Teach Me or
Yeah.
Learn.
Okay. Right. There's a few
Yeah.
new, right? I think Google Labs produces so much. It's kind of, again, it's like this avalanche of information. That's why I so much appreciated, Brad, your Monday night session.
Yeah.
As well as just the AI think tanks we have to stay on top of it. Now,
Yeah.
one thing you showed me, and I think it would be worth playing the World Labs demo, because
Oh my goodness.
that was
Yes.
crazy. And I hadn't heard about it before I came to your session Monday night. And I put I wasn't sure, I don't one of your people I think showed it.
Was it
Right.
Alan or Mark?
I
Alan or
think it
Mark.
was Alan. I think it was Alan. Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
right, brand new, Fei Lee, who I've seen, who was a professor at Stanford. I'd kind of seen her keynoting every AI conference for the last year and a half. And now they just released this, right? I think it's worth showing the whole minute 12 video.
Yeah, go for it. Then we can talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there sound or is it... Yeah, okay, there's typing.
Yeah, that's all right. They can read this for a minute. Is it what now?
Oh, I'm just looking at it. I didn't listen to it, I think.
This is World Labs. Yeah, there is sound.
Goodbye, Flatland, bring us the sing, make it immersive like we've never seen. Give it the depth, the light, the shadows, no more stuck in pixel meadows. Flatland, we've moved beyond 3D worlds to marvel upon. Turn on that generative stream. Goodbye, Flatland, welcome the dream. Goodbye, Flatland, bring us the scene. Make it immersive like we've never seen. Give it the depth, the light, the shadows. No more stuck in pixel meadows. Flatland, we've moved beyond 3D worlds to marvel upon. Turn on that generative stream. Goodbye, Flatland, welcome the dream.
Pretty crazy, right? And I think it's text to world, right? So we've seen text to video, we've seen text to, create a graphic, still image. Now this is text to create a world. We think about spatial computing, a lot of these other things. Pretty crazy, right, Brad?
Unbelievable, considering how much that style of technology blew our collective global minds 30 years ago or 25 years ago, that millions of dollars of infrastructure went into building, as someone showed on Monday night, those 3D games of the mid 1990s, like Quake,
Yeah.
where it seemed like hundreds, if not thousands, of people worked on something, and now I even think that Flatland song is an AI generated song. Um, I remember now the song. What a concept that you can, with words, create a colorful, consistent environment, like you're showing here, the freeze frame from a very famous painting.
Right.
You're able to seemingly input whether it looks like Van Gogh or an art gallery or an imaginary world from, beyond. It's going to be up to us to put use and money into it, but it seems super cool.
Yeah, and just bringing it to life, right? There's been a lot of conversation, for the past couple years with the entertainment industry and how they're creating scenes and new shows and AI and really which kind of touched on, we've been looking a lot at this with with fashion and AI fashion to reduce the to increase sustainability within that industry. Now if you're just thinking, you can kind of throw up right, which is in your area, Brad. Like, let me test three endings. Use AI, get a vision. Okay, now we're gonna put the money into building it out, right?
Oh, for
Uh,
filmmakers, absolutely. Someone made a 10-minute Batman movie unofficially, that looks really cool using the leaked AI video tool.
cool. Yeah, that's crazy. They did. I gotta see that. Okay, good. Couple of other things I wanted to show Brad, and thank you for showing me this.
Yeah.
My memory is full.
In ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, although, sometimes I wake up, it's like, what else can I stuff in there? And it's really about going to settings, personalization, managing memory. Now, just I can go in and just delete times, right? And again, as you read from some of my texts, it's just, it is making me lazy. AI. So I'm just like, let me throw it
Mhm.
in AI. It doesn't have to be English. I can misspell words. The
Mhm.
time change when Europe and Lebanon, in this case with Dr. Reed, had changed in front of, before North America did, I like had to coordinate time. So this one I don't have to worry about till next year.
Yeah.
Um, right. And just giving, yeah, just some of this stuff it's remembering. How can I kind of clear it out? But I think more importantly, Brad, honing in on what I wanted to remember and managing that.
Yeah.
Now, right, so we could do it through the GPT and creating GPTs around it and creating file structure. I've been going back and forth between ChatGPT and Claude because now I kind of have different work streams going for my different companies and projects.
Hmm.
I just find that as we're kind of rounding and coming into 2025, how can I just use the tools more effectively and go deeper
Yeah.
rather than, having to discover all the new tools, which, is endless. And I love to see it, but we also have to hone in on what's going to make us more effective.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I try to pay attention when I'm using ChatGPT, which is every day, like many of us. While you're using it, if you see a pop-up at the bottom that says memory updated, and you're like, that's not an important part of my day, you can say, you know what, actually delete that memory. Or the opposite is that when you want it to know something, like I'm working on a new project for the next 2 months and it always features this city or person or activity, you can say, put this in the memory. So I don't have to
Wow.
keep telling you this.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah. What we've
That's
got a couple minutes left. I can talk about one of two things. I either made a GPT maker if you want to go on a further usage of the tool, or I can show you make.com where I use their chat to conceptualize something. Which one do you want to see?
Wow, we have to choose. Those are both great. I guess let's start with Make. But
Okay.
I want to, can we do the GPT one next week? Because I think that would be amazing. The GPT maker.
Yeah. So make.com is on my radar. It's a really easy website to learn make.com, right? Make.com. And what you're going to do is make a scenario of sending information from one place to the other. So let's do one live here. My friend, who you know, Dan, who's in China for a season right now, he was telling me, "Oh, I've got my maybe I can even give him a shout out. He has his Substack." And
Make it a little larger, Brad, the browser. Because I think it shared your whole screen.
oh, okay, I'll do that. Thanks. I want to share this guy. No, maybe. Got so many things open. It's this one. There we go. Okay.
There it is.
So it's make.com, and my friend has his Substack, and he says, "Hey, how do I get it so that I can automate something?" So I went to make.com, which I've never used, right? I just know it exists. And I went to this AI assistant. So I clicked a new scenario and I said, let's go with AI. I clicked this AI beta button. And then the Ask Me Anything, I'll type in what I typed the first time, which is, I want an app that will take articles on Substack and create a faceless YouTube, is what I told it to do. Create a faceless YouTube, which is where you don't have to film yourself, but people will hear and see content. And accompanying social media posts is what I said. Accompanying social media posts. There we go. So I said this, right? And watch this. It's querying the agent. It's giving me 30 free credits. Okay. So without paying any money, I can have 30 chats with the AI assistant, right? So at first it just gives you text, which is cool, whatever. It says to create an app, it's going to do this, 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 and this, right? And then it says, would you like me to help you with a specific part of the scenario? I'm just going to type in yes. So you can ask me to add in mapping to the new model. So I'll just say add. And it's still processing the previous request. It may take up to a minute.
This is crazy, Brad. Because I dug into Make. Greg Wadsworth works with it so much, and he's done some amazing things. But and then I created an account. I integrated some of it, but it was a little tough. This is phenomenal. This AI piece now, where you can just tell it what your goals are, and it can create it for you. I love this.
Right. So it's going to get that newsfeed updater. It's going to send it to a text to speech. It's going to send it to this. The other scenario that I was playing with, we can discard that, was to summarize emails with Gmail and OpenAI and send it on Slack. So if you got an email, you could send it to ChatGPT and send it to Slack.
Oh
Or in this one that's a bit more advanced, right? You could take a website, and then this was the one that I was doing with his Substack. The first suggestion was to get this website, which is an article on the internet, create a speech synthesis with 11 Labs. So the very popular 11 Labs will create a talking avatar for you. It'll create a video in Placid. It'll upload it to YouTube. It'll post it on X and create a post on Facebook. And you automate this. And anywhere there's a red number 1, you would click it, and it says the value can't be empty. So I would create a connection. I would give it the API key, which is just your secret key. So if you have an account with any of these tools, paid or unpaid, they give you a secret key. And that application platform interface is so clunky, but 11 Labs is the application. And then it interfaces between them with the secret code. That's your API key. And so this make.com runs all of the keys in sequence. So you have a key to unlock your Facebook, to unlock your Twitter, to unlock your YouTube. And then you just say, once this thing happens, go to step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it seems to be really easy. Like if I start to mess with it, if I click the plus button, I can go and make all these different things. You really have to know what you're doing. But with ChatGPT, you can say, I don't know what I'm doing. How do I do this? It seems to be super cool.
That's incredible, Brad. I'm
And as I
digging.
tell people, David, you don't have to know how to do this. You can have $50 and you can go to Upwork and offer someone $50 and say, I would like you who knows how to do this to make this for $50 and go, is it worth $50? The guy that knows how to do that can make that in an hour.
Totally. But look, I mean, I think what you showed is, you can understand, and normally we'd have programmers have to dig in and be a, multi-week project that now can be done just telling the AI within Make to do it.
Yeah.
I think, learn and be open. Sometimes we look at technology and it's just like, oh, it's too much. I'm not going to learn it. Or, oh, I know what AI is because I used it for something and I'm not digging in. But that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Gamma, which we spoke about last week, I do have been part of their early adopter program. So now, if anybody from our community and any of the listeners have feedback for Gamma on features or having issues, send it in to us so we can get the information to them and help them build something that supports us. And then Brad, with Miro, share just some things that do they want feedback or
Yeah, I have been a participant at the Miro quarterly events. I'm not a participant, I show up and I watch. But I go to their quarterly or 5 times a year events where they showcase all their tools. But because my email is on that list for attending those events, sometimes they ping you and they say, hey, do you want to do a survey? I think they paid me. I think they paid me, a reasonable like gift card or something like that.
yeah.
Which I then used on Cyber Monday to get some cool gear, as you do. I find it important to engage the tools that you really like. What I was telling you before, as I said to Miro, that a lot of what they do is great, and not to just keep cramming, 10 pounds of tools in a 5 pound bag. Like
Yeah.
it can get overwhelming. I get overwhelmed and I'm immersed in these things. I got overwhelmed with make.com, but then I got over it. I was like, you know what? Take a breather. I'll figure it out. Miro is a great whiteboarding tool. I always champion it. I think it's super easy to use, super collaborative. It's like a very friendly user tool. But yeah, I took a 30-minute Zoom call with the team and just sort of gave them feedback because why not? I am an average user. I don't crack open and hack these things. I'm not a super user of these things. I just use them often. Like, you know what I mean? Some of our friends are like that. Like, behind the code hacked in user. I am not that guy. I just use them often.
Yeah, that's exciting. And just with technology companies, right? I mean, I've been in the technology industry for a long time. And I think it was 93, 94, maybe a little earlier. The average, application user of software products would use 10% of the features, right? Because those were just engineer driven. They're spending all this time on things that people aren't using. As we have access to the data, as we can use these models to share exactly what people are doing, get feedback from users so easily. Now I feel like, especially when you look at who's the developers on these programs, you're seeing a lot more kind of business forward thinking and user forward thinking, which is amazing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
Next
exciting. Yeah,
next session, let's do the GPT maker.
we'll kick off with that for sure because I'm excited to see that, Brad.
Yeah, I just made the tool that makes it easier to make the GPT tools.
I love it. I don't know if I can wait till then, but I may have to test it before our call. Thank you, brother. That was the latest. Thanks everybody for watching and have